We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Storm Duck, Miami Dolphins corner. They signed as a free agent. Another guy they clearly like. They gave him a nice signing bonus, nice guaranteed money. And you could see on the film he definitely has some things to like about it. So to me, I would love to see him as a potential like practice squad guy. And, there's always a chance with these types of players they can make the roster. But I did go back and watch Ethan Bonner's college tape, and I do think Ethan Bonner had better college tape than all the DBs they brought in. And they would all kind of have to work through Bonner to get the chance really on this roster, unless they wanted to, keep an extra guy. But there are some intriguing traits here. I think, Duck overall athleticism is pretty good. I don't like his change of direction skills. I think that kind of gets him into trouble at times. Like, he's got good linear speed, things like that. And then, impress definitely is where I became most impressed with him, just because sometimes his transitions can be a little, out of control. But he's a very anticipatory player. I like the anticipation that he plays with overall. Like, he can play press man, he can play zone. I just feel like when he has to play in more space, that's where he gets himself into trouble. But he's willing to get physical. And obviously, just the elite name. You gotta love someone with the name Storm Duck. But overall, came away pretty impressed. Potentially stick around the practice squad. But Storm Duck's one of the guys that I do like. And I think if, he should at least try to stick around on the practice squad overall if they end up, clearing waivers. It just depends. I really looked at the roster, and the Dolphins roster is going to be very tough for the UDFAs to make this year. Maybe one or two. There would have to be some surprises for really more guys to get a chance. But one thing Duck does really well, here he's bailing. He does a great job anticipating route breaks, playing through with his hands there, which is nice. This is where, he can get into trouble sometimes when he has to open up his hips and really, change direction and get back downhill. But he does a great job. Look at him, start to slow down. He's anticipating this break right here. He's anticipating that break to the inside. He's reading it the whole way because he's bailing out and he starts to slow down his hips. Great anticipatory skills, which I love for a corner of a guy that can feel that. He understands his leverage. If he really had better transition, change of direction, ability to mirror and match overall, I would feel even better about it. But he is pretty competitive overall. Love his ability with impress. I think most of his reps in press were pretty impressive. Even when sometimes he got beat in press, but he usually got beat and was still in a good position to make a play. He just didn't finish. Here's another example of him sort of bailing out. He can play in, those cover 3 type looks. Just another great job anticipating. That's where he feels that comfortability. He's a little bit he gets stuck in transition right there. It takes him a little bit of extra false step to get back in transition downhill, as you can see. But he makes up for it with his processing skills. He's feeling this the whole way. Understanding the situation. Guy is going to break out the sticks. He starts to feel that. Boom. Quarterback is late with it, so it would have been picked if he threw an accurate pass. Because Duck, just great instincts and anticipatory skills. Love that type of stuff out of corners. And yeah, I think Duck, out of the DBs they signed, is the best. As UDFAs, he was the best football intelligence that I saw out of them. Not the best athlete, because I think Perry was probably the best athlete, but he's more of a safety. And here's a good job of him finding the ball. I think when he's in a position to turn back towards the receiver, he does a good job playing the back shoulders. I do think he can struggle when he has to turn the opposite way. He feels not as comfortable in those areas, so the ball skills can be a little bit off. But I do like the feel that he showed on this play. He does a good job overall with his technique, at least with his feet, his body lean, his bend here. Sometimes he'll shoot the wrong hand. You want to shoot your left hand here first. Sometimes he'll shoot the other hand, and then that will lock your hips at times. So that can help him out in transition. But then he ends up getting the right spot here. His left hand is in a good position. He's playing high upfield shoulder position. He understands when his leverage. Look at his leverage right here. If he was a step back, he would turn the opposite way. But since he's a yard, a half a yard above the receiver, playing upfield shoulder, he knows to turn towards the receiver to find the ball for the back shoulder and then play through it. That's very good awareness, competitiveness. Here's a rep of him in soft press. Another example of him just being square, being patient, and then once the guy commits, he's able to open up his hips, use his hands. I do like that he gets physical in press. He's at least able to slow down and stay in phase. Those things definitely popped up on the film for Storm Duck. And then just another example of him anticipating route breaks. He can play in trail, which is definitely somewhere he feels comfortable in. We see in the upfield shoulder stuff. But if he's trailing, I think, he'll struggle to find the ball in vertical stuff. But if there are route breaks, over the middle to the outside, Duck will anticipate those breaks. Knows if he has help over the top, he will take some risk there. He runs that route basically for the receiver. Ball goes the opposite way. And, here's a rep where he gives up a touchdown. Overall, it's a pretty good rep. He just loses late. The initial part is all good. The technique, he's square, he's patient. This is a good body positioning. Once the guy commits, he gets good hands, he fights, he's in a good spot. But right here, he's kind of even with the receiver, so he's in a tough spot. He looks for the ball a little too early, which makes him lose late. Like when you're in this spot, you want to be a little more patient, either work to get over the top so you can play the back shoulder, or, get back in phase, like on the lower hip, the low field shoulder, so then you can turn the opposite way. But since he's kind of even, he loses the receiver and the guy separates late, and it's just a good thrown ball. So he loses because, he turned the wrong way a little too early, which is, definitely a problem that DBs can have. Here's him sort of anticipating a route break. You can see it. Like, he starts to right there. He's already breaking, and this guy is just starting to, like, get his route going, so he has a good feel for that. And you can see Duck's transition aren't super smooth. Like, he can come out of them a little out of control, which is, I think, one of the big reasons you see in guys, because he doesn't have that ability that you really want, the fluidity, change of direction skills you really want out of your corner. I think that's a big reason you see him falling. But he has other things that you really like about his game, which is why, he was kind of like a priority free agent for a lot of teams. He was one of the guys that got those signing bonuses, guaranteed monies, and he just has a cool last name. Here he is playing as a flat, defender. They're running like a invert cover 3, but he's staying down as like a flat. And I like how he plays this, gains some depth here. Like, he's getting threatened in both areas, but he doesn't want to give up this whole shot, so he gains depth. And now that, he sees that this guy's over the top in a good position, his safety, he has help there. He's ready to get back down, maintain his leverage, and just in case, he doesn't want to, shoot down too early. Once he sees the QB escape, boom, sink those hips, close on, look who it is, Malik Washington, actually, the other Dolphins player. And then, at least help, finish that tackle. I wouldn't say Duck's like anything special when it comes to like the tackling physicality part of the game. He's willing to get physical, play with press, he's willing to tackle, but I wouldn't say he has like the greatest like strength. He's going to go out there and destroy anyone, but there is a lot of overall things to like with his game. Here's another physical play in press. I like his press man work, which is always important. I feel like if you can press, you have a chance to make it in this league, especially if you end up in the right system. So Duck is one of those UDFAs I feel like could be a player at the next level. There's only a handful, and I've kind of gone over them. There will probably be one more player that I do for the UDFAs that I think is like, oh, this is the guy that could make the roster. And then I'll start getting into some of the UDFAs that I think are potential practice squad candidates, and maybe they surprise. You never know. I'm excited to see all these guys in preseason, because there's always a surprise preseason UDFA player, and they all have a chance. And there's more DBs to still look at. They signed a lot of DB UDFAs, so they clearly feel like maybe one of those guys can make an impact. And Storm Duck just continues to be in a good position on the ball. Good job pressing, playing with physicality. Love that. Throwing off the route timings. Want to see him shoot his hands a little bit better, like the right hand. Shoot his inside hand, be a little more independent with his hands. But then get back over the top, anticipate the route break. You can see he's already you can see him feel this. He's on the vertical plane. He's kind of even with the receiver, but he starts to slow down, get his hands on that receiver before he even started his break, because he felt that it was going to happen. Maybe get a little too grabby there, but not terrible overall. The ref had a good angle on it, and then makes his play. And then here's, we got Duck. This is, not all 22, but this is another area where he's basically your flat defender. He's like the one that they're reading. He's that impact guy. He's the guy that QB has eyes on, that he thinks, boom, he's going to break down in the flat because he's a flat defender on 19, but he gains depth for the smash concept, gets over the top of it, gets the interception, showing off some ball skills. Storm Duck played at North Carolina, played at Louisville throughout his career. Everyone will know him for his name, so I feel like he'll be one of the more popular UDFAs for that. But I think, the anticipation that he showed for route breaks was definitely the thing I saw that I liked the most. He also, has some good speed. I just don't love his change of direction skills, fluidity overall, and I liked him more within press than I did playing, off-man coverage, maybe deep zones. I feel like, he can play in those underneath zones and be successful, and we'll see, how that all ends up translating to the next level, but did enjoy it overall. I think he's one of the guys with a chance, most likely a practice squad guy if they can get him through waivers. So if you guys want to do it, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.